Hello, this is Vonel signing in, and welcome to How to Beat the Meat Grinder, US perspective. Operation Metro is a pretty popular map, one of the most popular maps, but it's also one of the maps who receives the most hate, and that being Russians have an enormous advantage from the start. But beating the Meat Grinder isn't impossible as US, not at all actually, and I'm gonna show you how. Before I even start about talking about tactics, I just want to repeat some of the basics. When you join a server, join a squad. And also, please make sure to have perks that none other in the squad has, because it's completely retarded to have 3 grenade perks and maybe a sprint. It just doesn't make sense. So, join a squad, and also choose a perk none other in the squad has. And also, feel free to tell people to change perks if they have duplicates, because, yeah, it's just stupid. The setup you see me and my squad having here is actually a pretty aggressive one. You probably would understand. Sprint, suppress and grenades. Perfect for attacking. So to sum it up, join a squad, choose a perk, and for God's sake, please don't duplicate. So now you have your setup correct and you're all ready to play some really good team play, right? Now you're gonna beat the meat grinder and stuff. Well, chances are you ain't gonna achieve much anyway, because you are probably forgetting one of the most important tools of team play of all, and that is pretty simple. It's simply called communicating. Gaming communities who host servers will also usually host TeamSpeak or Ventrilo servers, but if that's not an option for you, you should use Skype or something like that. And if none of the above is an option, you just have to type and read the chat box. The chat box actually is a really good tool, because you can put in important messages there, like if you have a flank, if you have been flanked, if the Russians break through your front somewhere, or if you break them and you have an open squad, always use the chat box. But don't forget, the software is free. TeamSpeak, Ventrilo and Skype, all downloadable and free to use. Now, when breaking out from a container or base rep, there are 3 main alleys to push up. The first one I call just track 1, and it's on the left side from spawn. It's pretty hard to break through here because of the big open area at the end of the train by the burning train wreck at sea. But if you can push up here with your team or squad, you should lay down suppressor fire as much as you can, especially into the tunnel right there. Now you can do the same from the other side. I call this track 2, and the rooms I'm in now I just call service area. Again, it's very good to lay down suppressive fire inwards, because when your team pushes up in the middle, the Russians will be clumped up in this area, and laying down suppressive fire or just shooting the hell out of them really pushes them back. This service area is good to hold because you can, as you saw, shoot in the alley there, and you can also lay down fire on C and also upwards on track 2. I'm gonna give you an example of a failed break. I push up track 2 and just checking areas here and there where people usually stay. I call this metagaming. And when you have the chance, lay down suppressor fire. When you do have the chance, move up, but always try to have some cover, because the Russians usually use maybe up to 10 seconds, but not that long to reclaim their position where I'm firing at right now. So I see lots of teammates are gathering up here, so I feel it's time to push. And I took out that light because I don't want them to see me that good. Okay, we have lots of people. on the ledge there, on the start of the service area, there's always people over, almost always. Now just try to keep cover as much as possible. Unless you have a clear advantage, then you as support you should do suppressive fire as much as possible. My teammates are dying over here, but it also looks like they're doing their job right and taking out the enemy, leaving the area open, so I'm able to push in. Now this is a failed break, and the reason why it's a failed break is the move I'm doing in just a couple of seconds. The area is more or less open. I see those guys chasing, so I figure I'm gonna go and do some support and shoot down guys chasing. But my mistake here is I jump right into a firing box, so I get shot in the back. Now in the middle area, I saw it was too many people to really be of any use there. You have to keep in mind every second you are carrying a gun and not using it is actually a large waste, because bullets can, if they don't kill, they do suppress, or at least psychologically give the enemy some kind of idea that they at least can't advance. At this point, I feel my team has been lucky because it's almost empty here. I got hit markers with the nade, but I'm not gonna bother with it. I'm just gonna check if he sees me, and it didn't seem like it. So I move up again. And always keeping cover, not running straight for the door, but making sure that I'm exposed as little as possible. So I took my chance. Didn't see much, so I ran and ran. And I pretty much knew that this guy probably would go up the escalators. And I luckily this time was right. And being chased again, I run like hell. And hide. One of the benefits of being in a squad is that the squad can spawn on you and opposite. So I'm not gonna stick around and wait for my squad mates to spawn. And since I'm support, I usually don't make the run for it. I try to support my teammates by being distractions and shooting the hell out of the enemy when I have the chance, giving my teammate there or squad mate the chance to run. So it didn't seem like anybody saw him, so I moved too close. That's my mistake. But I fulfilled my purpose anyway. So that's it for breaking a contain, at least. So a quick little recap of the general idea of the strategy here is on track 1, lay suppressive fire upwards towards C and further down the map, and also if possible get into the train, or at least besides the train, and shoot into the alley that connects the mid and C and everything else. And a lot of people clump up in the middle. I see maybe 10-15 guys there sometimes. Sometimes so many people that when you spawn there you actually can't move. There's no point in doing that at all. Actually, it's a extremely good idea to lure the Russians into this area, because suddenly they can't move anywhere and you can attack them from every side, throwing nades on them and killing 10-15 of them in just seconds. The other good part is use track 2 more often than you usually do. For some reason people seem to gather in the US cave, sniping and support and stuff like that, and also in the middle. And that's the two most useless places to break a contain. So use track 2 actively, and if you get all the way up to the service area, lay down suppressive fire on the flag, lay down suppressive fire in the tunnel, or what I haven't really named it yet, and lay suppressive fire upwards track 2. In this way, the Russians will come under so much fire that they can't reinforce. Only if they respawn on squad mates, that is. And eventually you will push them farther back and also then reclaim overpass. The overpass is the area you saw me in the last clip when I ran like hell and also went down and around and into the toilets. That's the next stage of beating the meat grinder.